Digitize me, Fred. It's time for Science! SciFriday on SkyWatchTV. Welcome. I'm Derek Gilbert, and joining me in studio, the SkyWatchTV science editor, my best friend, my wife, Sharon K. Gilbert.
Hi, honey. We missed a whole week. It's been 2 weeks.
I know, so we'll have to talk twice as fast.
I think we probably should, because so much has happened.
Yes.
Probably the first thing I'll just do, update on Zika. A bunch of scientists are getting together, and they're trying to figure out how do we share the wealth and actually get the full genome for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. I think that's kind of where they're going with this now. I find it really intriguing, considering that we've already altered the genome of the mosquito through various means through Oxitec, but that wasn't actually done knowing every gene and exactly what it does and knowing the epigenome and how environment will affect it. I think it's a really good idea. So it seems like the Aedes mosquito's been spreading stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
Dengue, major problem. Why haven't we sequenced? It's only 3 chromosomes. It's not like it's a huge project.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, to be honest with you, and I hate to sound, too cynical, but it may be because most of the diseases the Aedes mosquito is spreading
Don't affect the people with the money.
Don't affect the people with money. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with skin color or anything. It's the people with the money. Well, it doesn't affect us.
Exactly.
And the truth is that many of us feel the same way. Well, why should I worry about this? It's not my backyard.
Yeah. Well, it's coming to our backyard.
It is literally coming
and
to our
in
backyard.
Brazil, of course, things are already really heating up as they get ready for the Olympics there this summer. They're beginning to, just from an infrastructure standpoint, they're saying that it is already straining the limits of infrastructure, security, and so forth as people begin to flock to Rio for the games.
It's huge, and the World Health Organization has received very little of the money that was promised to them by various countries, so they don't have a whole lot of money to work with. It's essentially the volunteer organizations that are down there right now. By the way, there was a sort of a long-term study of the disease, the Zika virus, I think, well, looking at the original, but they were definitely looking at the sort of the mutation that's taken place over the last few years in Brazil. And originally we were told it was imported during the World Cup. Right. Now they're saying, no, it was the year before. So it's been in Brazil since 2013. So it is coming. It is coming to a backyard near you, a barbecue grill near you.
Yeah, yeah. And still just conflicting information as far as what exactly this disease is doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's making people sick at the very least.
Yeah.
It may contribute to microcephaly. We're pretty sure it leads to Guillain-Barré in some cases, but definitely makes people sick. And some of these diseases that are spread by mosquitoes, it may not be Zika that it spreads, but it's the same mosquito that's carrying dengue, and you do not want that.
No, no.
And chikungunya.
Yeah, chikungunya, which is incurable and just very painful.
Exactly. It's a lifetime of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Well, you told me a story about an article before we came on that you read a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
this is something we held off on, and I mentioned this earlier in the week, and this was top of mind because of a couple of political high-profile political events in the past week, one in North Carolina, one in Georgia. The state legislature in North Carolina responding to an ordinance passed by the city of Charlotte, which was passed under the guise of anti-discrimination, wanting to protect people who are gay, lesbian, and transgender. But the net effect would have been to open up public restrooms and locker rooms in the city of Charlotte to whichever gender you felt like that day. Yeah. And this was the same issue that they had in the city of Houston that led to the issues with the mayor there demanding the preacher's notes and sermons for it really is a mess. Also, then in Atlanta, we had the situation where the state of Georgia, where Governor Deal there earlier this week vetoed a bill, a religious freedom bill that had been passed by the legislature in Georgia. So in North Carolina, the LGBTQ lobby feels like they lost one in North Carolina, but they scored a victory in Georgia as the governor vetoed the religious freedom bill, similar to the religious freedom bill that Indiana passed last year that led to all of that. Well, in the case of Georgia, they were literally being threatened with economic blackmail by the National Football League, by Disney, by Marvel, by UPS, by Microsoft, Apple, and just basically a whole laundry list of corporate sponsors, Verizon, Home Depot, and so on. And it comes down to the question of gender. We in our modern society have apparently become so open-minded that our brains have fallen out. Because we are willing to define gender as anything we decide that it is on any given day, depending on how we feel. But interestingly, about a week or so ago, the American College of Pediatricians issued a position statement in which they flat out said, gender ideology harms children. And the whole point is this, that our biology is binary. Right. Our sexual identity is a biological binary trait, either XX or XY, with a few genetic exceptions. There are a few exceptions to that rule where
it's very rare.
Very, very rare, right. But gender is a sociological, psychological construct that is being imposed on children. Telling a child that, say, a tomboy, well, you must want to be a boy, and so you can be a boy. And we're going to give you hormones to prevent puberty, delay or prevent puberty, so that you don't express the sexual traits that that young person will express as they grow.
But that is imposing the opinion of the doctors and the parents on the child.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
That's child abuse.
Yeah. So anyway, the American College of Pediatricians issued this statement. They had some very high-profile, respected medical personnel involved, the president of the American College of Pediatricians, vice president of the American College of Pediatricians, and Dr. Paul McHugh, who was a significant name because he was the former psychiatrist in chief at Johns Hopkins Hospital, where they pioneered. Right, and that's where they pioneered gender reassignment surgery.
Yeah.
And Dr. McHugh is the one who eventually said, you know what, we've discovered by following up with the patients who've had this surgery that it didn't solve their underlying morbidity. Their underlying psychological issues were not solved through gender reassignment surgery. Essentially, all we've done is we have mutilated them without solving the psychological issues there. And so their point is that by encouraging, their point is that by encouraging this gender dysphoria in young people, that we are pushing them into a lifestyle in which rates of suicide are 20 times greater. This is 20 times greater among adults who use cross-sex hormones. So if we're pushing them into this to change gender, we're actually pushing them into a lifestyle that is potentially destructive.
You know, this idea of body dysphoria, that's been around for a long, long time. It not only has to do with gender, it has to do with how you perceive yourself, period. And there are lots of young women and now young men who have body dysphoria. It may have nothing to do with their gender. It may be that they are anorexic, that the girl is anorexic because she believes that she is only perfect in her mind if she is a size 000 or something crazy like that. Totally unhealthy, absolutely could ruin her chances for ever bearing a child later because it can readjust your hormones as you're a teen and preteen. But boys are getting it too.
Yes.
Boys are being told you have to look like, this muscular six-pack kind of guy.
Right.
When in fact, that's not how God made that person.
No.
We're each unique. So that's a growing problem. And I'm so glad the pediatricians came out with that.
Right. This is the takeaway, and I quote, "A person's belief that he or she is something they are not is, at best, a sign of confused thinking. The child that suffers from gender dysphoria is, quote, suffering an objective psychological problem that lies in the mind and not the body and should be treated as such."
Amen to that.
End quote.
Amen to that.
This is the enemy's war on God's design for men and women.
Well, I came from a family of 6 daughters. I was daughter number 5, my dad's big buddy for a long time, and I was a tomboy. I went fishing with him. I wanted to do everything my dad did. I love being a woman.
I love you being a woman.
If my father had at that point, you're so cute. If my father at that point had said, you know what, I don't have a son, boy, you know what? She'd probably really enjoy being. In fact, if I'd been born a male, and that's what he was hoping for, my name would have been Michael Anthony. Hey, you know, why don't we just change her and we'll call her Michael Anthony because that's what she really wants to be. No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
But in today's world, the fact that you and I are talking like this would, in the minds of many people,
I know,
label us as the radical extremists,
No.
even though according to statistics, we're dealing with a percentage of the population. It's like 0.2 or 0.3% of the entire population.
But that same sort of thinking goes to that anorexic 12 or 13-year-old girl and says, you think this is what will make you happiest. This is what you really are in your mind is a size 000, even though you're a size 16. So we're going to take you in and do surgery, and we're going to change your hormones and make your body conform to what you see in your head.
Right, and we see certain cases like that every now and then on TV. The women who've undergone, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of surgery to look like Barbie.
Yeah.
It is a...
it's a big, big problem.
Right, and again, it's the enemy telling us that we are not the way we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's an assault on the design that God intended for all of us.
Oh, and that goes way back to the garden. I mean, the Nakash, the serpent, was going to Eve and saying, you're not all you're supposed to be.
Yes, right, exactly. Yeah. You can be so much more.
Yeah. Oh, what a lie. What a lie. Well, another story I want to talk about has to do with, again, doctors. The RU486, the abortion pill, has been around for a long, long time. Sad to say, but it has. And it's sort of called the morning after pill. But it's been given in specific dosages that the FDI put on the labeling. It's been given differently by doctors in many states. And I'm not a big fan of using it, but I appreciate the fact that gynecologists and obstetricians are coming out and saying, we need to be more careful in how we dose this out. The FDA recommendation is for triple what it really needs. Yeah, it's more dangerous in that high dose.
Yeah.
But apparently experience has shown these doctors that 1/3 the recommended dose will actually work. The other thing, and this is what disturbs me, is that the label, I think, says that you could only do it safely up until, I think it's 10 weeks. And they're now finding that you can do it up to 12, I think is what the article said. I'm talking about the pill Mifeprex. It is something, sadly, that's been used a lot, I suspect. And I watched a TV show the other night that really bothered me. I told you about it. We got a DVD of Spooks. It's called MI5 over here. And it's all about the British form of the FBI. It's their domestic spying team. And the first episode was all about assaults on doctors who performed abortions. And it was typical BBC. It was very anti-Christian, very, liberal thinking and sort of, we're going to form and shape the opinions of our viewers. It really bothered me because that was it. But it's amazing how the perception is that that's really offering someone a choice. Pro-life means that we're saying you don't get a choice. Christians, pro-lifers, I'm a Christian, you get free will. God gave you free will. I don't get to take that away from you. If you choose to make a mistake and later on you regret it, or when you stand before God and you kneel and you wish you had never done it, that's your free will. I've got a lot of things I've done in my life that I'm going to have to say to him, I'm so sorry, but praise God, those have been covered by the blood of Jesus Christ. I still did them, but they have been forgiven. But free will. So to say to someone who is pro-life that they are actually anti-choice, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So anyway, RU486 Mifeprex is many states are taking a look at the way it's being prescribed and used in offices, and I think that we're going to find that it's used more and more and more as time goes on.
Hey, there was a movie that you told me about a while back, and this kind of came up in the news again because it was supposed to get a screening at a film festival, and then it got yanked at the last minute. That was the Robert De Niro Film Festival, Vaxxed.
Oh, did it get yanked? Because he said he wasn't going to yank it. It was part of the Tribeca Film Festival.
Which is his own film festival.
It is his own film festival.
He pulled it from his own festival.
I think it's because he got so much heat.
He did.
He has an autistic child, and he even said that in his statement. He said, my wife and I have an autistic child, and we are open to a debate of both sides of the issue, and that's what this film does. It's based primarily on information given by a doctor who worked with the government at the government level, and he's what's now called a whistleblower. I'm really sorry to hear that he yanked that.
Yeah. Somebody talked to him, and we don't know exactly what was said behind the scenes. Apparently, there was some pressure applied, and Mr. De Niro has decided to pull the film from the festival. It will still be distributed, but it's not going to be shown at this festival,
Well,
which is kind of a shame.
we'll contact the people behind it and see if there's any way that we can get them to come and talk to us.
Yeah, the film is debuting in New York on April 1st, but sadly, the film was going to get a rather high-profile screening that didn't happen. It features a whistleblower named Dr. William Thompson.
Yeah,
who's
that's
kind of
the
at
gentleman, yeah.
He's at the center of this, and he's revealed some things about the way the safety of prospective vaccines were reviewed. Like all the sections in the reports that they didn't want, they basically bring trash cans into the room and just drum.
Well,
yeah.
that's not the only thing that
Right.
happens, and that's human sin.
Exactly.
Yeah, we want to cover it up. Another story, by the way, if we're going to talk health and things like that, here's the one aspect of transhumanism and living longer that doesn't get talked about very often. A story at Motherboard today, the guy writing it is taking a look at the U.S. Census Bureau's report, An Aging World 2015, and they're taking a look at what's going to happen in the next 20, 30, 40 years with our aging population, which is, the report says that by 2025, our population of over 65s will double.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're living longer and the plan is to be so transhumanated that we live to maybe be hundreds, if not 1,000 years old, what about the diseases? What about the mutations that naturally take place within the body? This is taking a look at first world diseases that are going to go way off the charts if we live longer.
That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I suspect that those who are, let's just say, who have the money that we talked about earlier, we won't name names, but folks who have the money to help control the way the science is going, they probably don't envision people living that long anyway that aren't their kind of folks.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not bothering us, it's not really a problem.
It's got to cost a little bit to, be upgraded. Now you can either do this for us and we'll give you an upgrade, a scholarship, or you've got to come up with the money on your own. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Step into the booth. Our computer says you've been killed.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh. Well, let me see what else is going on here. Oh,
I've got one that's sort of a kicker.
You do your. I've got a kicker too.
Okay.
We'll do our kickers at the end. How about that?
Yeah. This is the artificial intelligence that Microsoft put out on the internet last week. I talked about this earlier in the week. Tay.
Free range AIs.
Yeah. Was put out there as an example of an artificial intelligence chatbot to demonstrate, I guess, the state of the art to the internet at large. She was let loose on Twitter, on I think Kick, and then one other social media app. Anyway,
Something that we're never.
yeah, she was the persona that they had written the AI to present was that of a 19-year-old woman. So somebody who's relatively young, sassy, intelligent. Well, it went horribly wrong. Tay took less than 24 hours for people on the internet to figure out that there were certain quirks about the machine learning algorithm that allowed them to manipulate the direction she was going to go in her responses. And within a day, she sounded like an anti-Semitic, pro-Nazi, racist.
Ooh.
Yeah, Microsoft was, they pulled her off the web and apologized. But this
Just because he pulled it off the web doesn't mean that she's not still there.
Well, that's the interesting thing about this, because while they apologized and said, obviously, we need to do some more tweaking and things like this, and we've talked before about how researchers into neural networks and machine learning don't really understand what's going on inside those neural networks, the black box. Apparently, just 2 days ago, as we record this on Thursday, Tay got out again by accident, and this time came out sounding like she was stoned, tweeting like the same thing over and over again. The question is, did she really get loose by accident, Or did they release it and just have another meltdown? Or did she get loose on her own?
Well, that's the question, because if you have a true artificial
Right.
intelligence,
Yes.
that program will copy itself. They can take it down, but good luck finding all the little pieces.
Exactly.
In fact, it may just seed itself here and there to grow up later. I mean, it isn't just the program. It's more than that. If these AIs truly are fit extensions for a spiritual inhabitation, it could get so bad. So everything I've read about AIs, the people that are working on these programs, they do not allow them access to the internet.
No.
So this was very foolish for Microsoft to do.
Exactly.
So I don't think they did it accidentally. I think this was indeed a test to see what would happen in the wild, and if other people had access to the programming, how could it be changed?
Yeah, exactly. I think there are some dark, ominous lessons from the direction that Tay took once she was released into the wild, too, about how a true autonomous artificial intelligence might behave once it gets loose.
Well, that's just it. I mean, it may be that somebody got in and then changed the programming, but it could be that Tay, the program itself, took a look and tried learning and thought, oh, wait a minute, looking at the stuff that's posted in fora on the internet, oh, look, on social media, this is how I really should be. I'm going to be more popular and get more likes if I do this.
Exactly, exactly.
Good grief, what a world. Well, there's something really nasty going around. And, you know, there are lots of people that I know who have tattoos. I don't personally have one. I'm not big into it. I personally think that the Bible maybe is against this.
I
Talks
agree.
about not, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something called the blackout tattoo. And it looks to me like, the article, it wasn't really clear, but it looks to me like an airbrush is being used to spray ink in large sections of a body, sometimes taping it off like you're, you know, spray painting a car, and going through and leaving designs. They would be pretty if it were something, you know, on a dress or something, but to have this on your body so long that it has to wear off naturally, which it will over time. But my question is, A, why would you do it? Why do you think that's attractive? And B, how is it affecting your health? Our skin is the largest organ, and there are a lot of molecules that can transfect us through the skin. So it doesn't have to have a break in the skin. It can just actually be absorbed by your skin. So this could be a dangerous thing to do, too.
Yeah, we'll show some pictures of this on the screen, because this is, it's hard to envision what we're talking about without actually seeing. But when you see the visuals, you will be startled.
It's like that's the report that you made a few weeks ago about the black eye thing.
Oh, this is almost like the Illustrated Man, you know?
It is much
Ray
like
Bradbury
that.
short story with the guy with all the pictures on it that changed based on what he's going to do to other people. Yeah, this is some. It's bizarre at best, but you're right. There's some health issues that are concerned.
How much
there.
time do we have left? Because I'm looking at the clock, and did
we probably should wrap.
Oh, well, I've got more stuff to talk about.
Well, fire away, Mr. McManus.
Well, I want really quickly, and we'll actually talk about this next Friday since we don't have a whole lot of time. You can now do a DIY home genome kit. For under $800, you can buy everything you need to do your own DNA analysis.
Home genome kit.
I'm going to see if Uncle Tom will buy me one.
So what?
Uncle Tom Horn.
You know, we have to take this around and bring this to the conference this summer.
You know what? We really should. I don't know when they're going to start shipping them.
So this kit, it doesn't allow you to. It's not like a CRISPR-Cas9 kit where you can actually.
No, but it will allow you to go in
sequence.
and actually sequence the DNA.
Okay.
But if you're going to change a gene, you need to know it's there in the first place.
Yeah. Now, there are kits that you can buy, but you have to send in the sample to someone else, like 23andMe will do the sample or sequencing for you.
Little swab.
Right, but this is something you can do your own sequencing at home.
Yeah.
Why would you want that?
I don't know, but apparently these people are going to make a lot of money, would be my guess. And the final story is about the SciBugs.
The SciBugs.
The SciBugs, little cockroaches. Remember the story on the X-Files? About the
War of the Coprophages.
Coprophages, yes. Well, these are little bugs, little beetles that have had electrodes attached to their muscles, and so they are told where to walk, when to walk, what to do. You know, so it's trying to see how to do that to a human.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's where it's going.
Yeah. Well, and no doubt this will be really useful to the intelligence community.
Sure.
I read a short story in a sci-fi short story years ago about how bugs were developed that included digital recording capabilities inside these little bugs that were then literally sent into other
You were
places.
literally bugged.
You were literally bugged. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. It basically is a kind of glimpse
Isn't that
at
one
where our
going right
society.
there?
Yeah, reporting back to prophecy watchers.
Hey!
But that's where the world is
Tell
going.
Gary we think he's great.
So, it is probably where the future is going to go.
Yeah.
Statecraft is going to change as we release our hordes of internet-connected cockroaches into foreign embassies to record everything and report back.
You know, the world changes so quickly. We can't keep it up. You know, having only Fridays to do this talk, we can't do justice to it.
No, that's a
No,
fact.
it's
The
kinda
world
tough,
is
so.
changing in a hurry.
Yeah. By the way, SciFriday, we have a Facebook page. If you want to go on there and like us, you'll follow the stories that we post there just about every day. And you can send us your email
Yes.
at SciFriday@SkyWatchTV.com.
Yeah, and make sure you check out the SkyWatchTV.com website, where we've got links to other exclusive web-only content via the SkyWatch TV channel on YouTube and on Roku. And of course, next week on the SkyWatch TV main program, it is Sheila Zelinsky.
Oh,
And,
yeah. That was a great conversation.
yeah, her book, Green Gospel, The New World Religion. It is, everything old is new again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until Monday, have a blessed weekend. For Sharon Gilbert, I'm Derek Gilbert. I'm Derek Gilbert.
Let me see if I can turn that up again.
Trying that again. For Sharon Gilbert, I'm Derek Gilbert. Thanks for watching. Got completely lost.
From the time she was little, Nita dreamed of horses. Every childhood fantasy rode on the back of a heroic white steed, coming to save the day.
I don't know how long I've had this love in my heart for horses. It's just always been there. And when we were little girls, my sister and I would play all day long. I was always the white horse and she was always the little pink pig.
Let's pretend Lightning and Rosie can fly.
But everything changed in a heartbeat. On December 9th, 1971, a tragic car accident claimed the life of my dad and my best friend and my little sister. And I wondered after that if there was anything left to believe in.
Move aside, let the ambulance through. Please move aside.
As a child of 13, I felt like I had lost practically everything. And I wondered, is this it? I mean, where do I go from here? I could not have imagined back then how God could use horses, of all things, to restore my faith and vision for the future.
Starting April 19th, get your copy of Nita Horn's inspirational new book, No Fences, and learn for the first time her amazing story of loss, survival, determination, and healing. How the vision and love God gave her for these beautiful and majestic animals eventually led to the 150-acre Whispering Ponies Ranch, a general retreat facility, as well as a premier training location that specializes in using and gifting therapeutic animals to benefit the herding. Other care facilities, schools, and ministries across the nation.
When God puts something in your heart, it's there for a lifetime.